Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this beer taste challenge. 2 American lager beers, 1 adjunct, 1 non-adjunct, all malt. Used to be adjunct. Anyway, we have Schlitz. This Gusto recipe introduced in 2007, replacing the 1977 to 2011 recipe. So they were on the market concurrently for 4 years. Good date. Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But it's really owned by Pabst since 1999. 4.7% alcohol, 20 international bitterness units. The competitor, Michelob Lager. Look what I found. Dorgnax on Veterans Boulevard, Metairie, Louisiana. Michelob Lager, 4.8% alcohol. That fluctuates, but this bottle says 4.8. 364th day of 2021. So December 30th, it was bottled. So just about 6 weeks old. No, 5 weeks old. 5 weeks old. 151 calories. Schlitz is like 145, but they don't list it. Okay, a unique blend of Hallertau, Strisel Spalt, and other hop varieties. So they use noble hops. Hallertau, Strisel Spalt. I think it's Tettnanger. They showed this old Michelob Tavern. Combined with 2-row barley malt and caramel malt to create our signature Munich-style lager. Munich-style lager. Munich, the capital of Bavaria, the state of Bavaria in Germany, formerly the Kingdom of Bavaria until 1918. Oh, nice smoke. Let's see if I have this current bottle design in my collection. Whoops. Made a little mistake there. All right. So thick head of foam, clear gold. That's Michelob. It's an above premium beer. It's expensive. It was $14.99 for the 12-pack, but it's an above premium beer. It's always been more expensive than Budweiser because it's a higher grade product, and that was the concept behind it in 1896 when it was introduced by Anheuser-Busch. Whoa. Very thick white head. Also a golden appearance. Clear and golden. I was going to say the Michelob is darker, but I'm not sure about that. Look at those two beautiful beers. $10.99 I paid for the Schlitz 12-pack, and it's only sold in cans in Louisiana. No draft, no bottles. Other states, draft, bottles, and cans, or a combination of one of the three or whatever. Okay. That's for Schlitz. So $10.99 for a 12-pack versus $14.99 for a 12-pack. That makes sense. Schlitz is used to be a premium beer, but now it's relegated to the budget section. If you look below in the description, Crescent Crown, the distributor here, lists it as part of their budget portfolio, along with Pabst Brewing, Busch. Well, Busch is not their beer, but it would be in that same category. Let us see the comments. Jean-Pierre, the beverage ramble. Tough one, Mr. T. I'll lean towards Michelob Lager. Okay, fair enough. Good afternoon, Ron. I bet Michelob wins. Yep, JP, my money is on Michelob. Michelob Lager, man, that stuff is so hard for me to find. I didn't think I'd see it again, and then there it was, like 7 or 8 12-packs piled up. I say, woo, I wonder if you will ever see Michelob on draft these days, or Schlitz for that matter. Schlitz, I have seen it on draft, and I had it on draft in Milwaukee, and it was really not dynamite, Jason, but I don't know about Michelob. Now, when Michelob was introduced in 1896, it was only sold as a draft beer, and you had to go to a Michelob pub to get it. Until Prohibition, beer companies could have their own taverns or pubs in the United States. Michelob. And they only sold Michelob. Now in England, they still do that. But after Prohibition, they outlawed it, and beer companies, brewers, were not allowed to have their own pubs, which seems to go against the whole concept of land of the free, does it not? Beer companies used to be able to sell their beer directly to the public. Let's see if it's the same design. Here's a bottle from 2009, 28th of December, 2009. No. I don't know. Anyway, it says Michelob Original Lager. Same description. Now, this bottle is from 2012. Okay, all right. I had them backwards. Yeah, same label. Same label for the last 10 years. Same label for the last 10 years. I still have bottles from 1996 full of beer. I'll show you real fast, and then we're going to get on with the taste challenge. Here's a bottle of Michelob from 1996, unopened, because you would have to tear the paper shroud like with a Stella Artois. And it's the 100th anniversary Michelob. Remember these teardrop shaped bottles? Now, these were introduced in 1962. They didn't sell Michelob in bottles until 1962. And they didn't start selling it in cans until 1967. 1967. Here was a special Michelob. Here was a special Michelob from 1996 called Michelob Centennial Special Brew. Michelob Centennial Special Brew to celebrate the 100th anniversary. And I bought a 6-pack of it. Premium blended using only the finest barley malt, hops, yeast, and water. So this was an all malt. No corn or rice. Well, they copied that recipe into the modern Michelob, which uses no corn or rice. A fine beer brewed in the Michelob tradition of quality. An original recipe. Okay, so those are in the collection. And I saved those back then, 26 years ago, because I said, watch, they're going to be old one day, and everybody's going to say, look at those old cans and bottles. And now everybody says, look at those old cans and bottles. All right. Michelob was my father's favorite, says the Whiskey Scout. Nobody in my family ever drank Michelob. Probably because it cost too much. And I think I remember my father saying, oh, that stuff's terrible. Anything, any beer with taste, he hated. He specifically hated Budweiser. His beer was like Miller Lite, and then Coors Light. He jumped to Coors Light because it was even lighter in his opinion in the flavor. So he drank Coors Light until 2003. He says 02, but I'm telling you, it's January 03. He had the last bit of Coors Light. He said he drank a can of Coors Light and he started running fever. And he's like, I'm finished with drinking, because if I have one can of Coors Light, which is so light, and I'm running a fever, that's a sign. I'm like, yeah, he said, well, I kind of overdid it, like from age 16 to 15. Well, growing up in Baton Rouge, they weren't too strict over there, about drinking age, believe me. But until age 58, I guess he was. And yeah, he was like, I need to cool it. So he hadn't drank since, but you know, that's the way it goes when you go too wild. When I went to a party, King of the Dots, Gary says, I happen to like Michelob Lager. I miss the old bottle shape, but I can't find the beer in any shape anywhere. I know, right? I like the older 70s or 80s bottles. They were very unique and had a above premium look. Unique, yes. When I went to a party and they had Michelob, you knew you were at a classy party, right? Like at the country club. Jay, have I ever had Michelob Dry? I've got a bottle of it. I've got two unopened bottles of Michelob Dry. 1996. Still got the beer in it. Never opened it. Michelob Dry. Oh, what a good beer that was. And then the more modern 19 Michelob Dry. Unopened. And I have the Michelob Classic Dark. Introduced in 1981 and no produced. Well, maybe still produced for Asia. I think they get it in Korea and China, perhaps. Taiwan, the Republic of China. Michelob Classic Dark. Still beer in it, and it's dark too. You can't see through it. This is the 96 bottle. And what year that is? 97, 98, something like that. All right. Still got beer in it. All right, time to get down to the tasting, folks. Cheers, Ron, says Ronnie S., one of my moderators. Ronnie S., cheers to you. King of the Dots, Geary, Dry. Wow, the Wayback Machine. It was great, but extinct, right? Geordie's Den. Yo to you in Scotland, the Kingdom of Scotland. Kevin Johnson, did your dad end up with any liver or organ damage from the alcohol? Hope he's all right. No, because he knew he said that's it. But he ate too much sweets, you know, and he's got diabetes now, and he's overweight. But he said, I did it to myself. I mean, I can't. He's 77, going to be 78. I talked to him on the phone a little while ago. He was asking me, are you doing anything for Monday? I forgot to mention the taste challenge. Love Michelob Ultra, says Claude. That's the more popular one by far. Jason, wow. Those are so very cool. Those older bottle styles like that. I know. You're right. How about Coors Light versus Schlitz? I wouldn't do a light versus a regular. No. I did Coors versus Schlitz a couple of years ago, though. It's posted. Just like the Schlitz Old Mill Original Malt Liquor and Country Club Malt Liquor, the Country Club crowd, says Jean, laughing. Yeah, well, it used to be marketed to the Country Club crowd. Why ask why? Just say Michelob Dry. Claude Diamond. Ron, you're a beer machine. Love the live broadcast. Thank you, Claude. Craft beer tastic. I can only seem to find Michelob Ultra in my area these days. Yeah, that's the case. Geordie's Den. Cheers. Cheers back to you. Geary, my dad worked for GE jet engines, and they would bring jugs of Bud back from lunch and drink the rest of the shift. They're all still kicking at the annual Christmas party. Fact. Ronnie S. Hey there, says Jason. Ultra is an excellent but pretty pricey light beer. It is. It's like Michelob. You're paying for the premium quality of it. Blue Ice. Hey, Blue Ice over there in Georgia, Stone Mountain, Georgia. I miss Michelob. I know. I hope you run across a 12-pack I've had Michelob Ultra and I like this, says Jordy. Well, I wish you could try the regular Michelob. This Michelob Lager, 4.8% alcohol. No corn, no rice, all malt. Now, with those Strisel Spalt and Hallertau hops. Schlitz uses Mount Hood and Willamette hops. Now, even though Schlitz uses the corn syrup, it's fully attenuated, meaning it totally ferments and turns into, from the sugar, from the corn syrup, the sugar turns into alcohol. So there's really no syrup, corn in the beer. So I'm not really tasting a difference on that level with these two. Schlitz is weird because it's like a budget beer that tastes like a premium beer, you know, above premium beer. It's the secret weapon of beer. It's the rice. Must make a difference in the all-around taste. No, neither one of these have rice. Neither one of these contain rice. I talk to people and tell them, you ought to try Schlitz. And they'll say, oh, I don't like it. I said, have you ever tried it? No. Now, does that make sense? Is that good logic? They don't like it, except they never have tried it. I said, well, how do you know you don't like it? It's because they're stuck on a certain beer, like Bud Light, this guy I talked to today. Yeah, I'm going to buy a 24 pack of Bud Light, 24 case, you know, the 24 cans. Hear sirens. And I said, you ever thought about buying Natural Light? Because you're telling me you got financial problems, like you struggle every month to pay for things. Oh, I ain't buying that junk, he says. He told me this today. I'm not buying that junk. I said, junk. I said, that was their original light beer. Anheuser-Busch's original light beer. If he was smart about it, he would sit down and do a blind taste test. And I bet you he couldn't tell Bud Light from Natural Light. Maybe he could, but I bet he wouldn't. Or I bet he'd have a heck of a time. And why would you want to pay so much more money per 30 pack or 24 pack when you could? I don't know. I don't want to go on to all that. It's so frustrating, but it's not my problem because it ain't my money. You know, it's his money. I'm a fan of Red Bull. If I had one beer or malt liquor to take to Desert Island, it's Red Bull. Oh, Schlitz Red Bull XL, introduced in 1984. Yes. For an extra long finish. I think it's not totally fermented out as far as turning all the sugar into alcohol, so it gives you that kind of cloying finish, which some people like overly sweet finish. Didn't Michelob have rice listed as one of their ingredients decades ago? I thought they did. It was an adjunct lager until around 2008. Then they took this recipe to Centennial, you see, the one that was all malt, and they applied it to the regular Michelob to make it even more premium. Which was totally a joke because then they abandoned the brand. Like they just focused on Michelob Ultra. That's what happened. Michelob Ultra became so big, they just say, oh, forget Michelob Amberbach, forget Michelob Honey Lager, forget Michelob Beach Bum, which I loved. And I did see Michelob Light now 2 weeks ago, so I can get Michelob Light. But they just, I don't know, Anheuser-Busch it's like a lot of companies. They do silly things like Taco Bell getting rid of the Mexican pizza. And it was so popular, and they were like, well, why would you get rid of a popular product that everybody likes? And their answer was like, well, we looked at our portfolio, wanted to make some changes. Yeah, well, how about getting rid of the products people don't buy? You know, I don't know. I tried Schlitz in the 80s, and it was okay. I preferred Coors back then. Yeah, Schlitz in the 80s was the old recipe. It was just kind of standard recipe. The 1977 to 2011 recipe. But this new Gusto is much better. So what are the key differences between Schlitz and Michelob Lager, if any, says Kevin? Well, one's made by Miller, Molson Coors, and City Brewing for Pabst, and the other one's made by Anheuser-Busch. But the difference is Schlitz uses corn syrup as an adjunct, a filler, if you will, and Michelob has no filler. We used to, but they don't now. Jay, I agree with you. People only drink what's either popular or advertised. I know people that shot down Busch, but when they redesigned the cans and started advertising it, he loves it. Same thing. They got the Busch, NASCAR Busch Light race, whatever that was the other day, NASCAR Busch Light. Oh, yeah, everybody's buying Busch Light. Yeah, Busch Light. Yeah, that's the man's beer. I'm like, oh, because NASCAR is sponsored by them now. Okay. I was watching Professional Bowling Association last night, the Open tournament, which like golf, they have the bowling open and guy won. And it was sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon. If you can taste the difference, why pay the difference? You mean if you can't taste the difference? That's Carlo Rossi talking, also known as Jean-Pierre. The original Schlitz Tall Boys, very tasty and a great book. Okay. Good point, Pierre. I'm a sucker for new can designs. Me too. I like to collect them. All right, let's get down. Let's get down to the tasting. I mean, I'm tasting it, but, you know, I'm talking because I'm having a little trouble. These are close. These are close. So why would I pay $4 more for the Michelob? Guess what? I wouldn't. I mean, I did because I wanted to get the 12-pack for this, but I mean, I wouldn't do it normally. Neither one of these like a Euro lager, like bready malt, like biscuity malt, like they have in Europe. No. They're definitely American all the way. This is the Michelob, though. You know why? Because they're using that caramel barley malt. 2-row barley malt pale and caramel malt. See, so the caramel is a little darker, like medium roast, right? Not dark roast, but medium roast. So it's got a roastier flavor. That a hop thing is the same. I don't know what the IBUs are for Michelob, but I wouldn't be shocked if they were 20, like Schlitz is 20. But it's the roastiness. Schlitz is like pale all the way, pale malt. And Michelob is slight. It's got that blend where they got the pale malt 2-row and the roasted, the caramel, which is medium roast, you know, medium, like Folgers medium roast coffee. You dig? Okay. Peter Weber is my favorite bowler, says Jason. I forgot a big factor. What did you smoke? Camel, no filtered, Lucky's, Marlboro. This influenced the old taste, but well, I never smoked cigarettes. LS. Do you think Michelob is better than Corona, says Gabe? Than Corona Extra? Yes. It's better than Corona Familiar, but Corona Familiar is good though. Don't shoot that one down. Corona is yellow water. Nah, it's yellow beer. I'll tell you what tasted like yellow water yesterday was that Dos Equis Especial, Lager Especial. That was so bland. Here comes the decision. These beers are both an A. They're not a B, good. They're not a C, average. They're not a D, bad. They're not an F, undrinkable. Of course, most beers are not an F, undrinkable. But they're an A, most excellent. You could just drink these and drink them like just going crazy. You know what I mean? Like that's how drinkable they are. Are they the two best American beers on the market? They're probably the two best. I'm talking about standard American beers. I'm not talking about, you say, well, what about this Imperial Stout from, I'm talking about regular lager beers. I agree, says Gabe. So somebody asked me, what are the two best American lager beers in the market? I'm going to say Schlitz and Michelob. Now the question is, can I tell them apart? Whoa. That's the Schlitz because it's got that brassy hops. I mean, it doesn't taste like brass, but you know what I'm saying? It's like burnished. I can't describe it. It's there. It's so noticeable. Like now for a couple of years, like 2012 to 14, they were over hopping it and tastes like an India Pale Lager. I was like, they need to cool it, you know. It tastes like Samuel Adams, that old Imperial Pale Lager. This will be a tough taste challenge for me, says Kevin. It is. Y'all think this is easy? Go ahead and do your own blind taste test. I'll watch. But I think it's Schlitz. It is S for Schlitz. Haha. Some sweetness, some sweet bread, brassy hops, bright hop. You see, Schlitz, it's funny because it's hoppy, but it's not bitter. Hoppy, but not bitter. So you can taste the savoriness of the hops, but they're not bitter. It's 20 IBUs, but it's not bitter. Look at the old Schlitz ads from the 1940s and 30s and 40s. It says Schlitz is not bitter. It's just a kiss of the hops. And then you talk about how they use really good hops. Schlitz had it going on until they made this idiotic decision in 1969 to start adding this special enzyme additive to their beer because some hotshot scientist told them, oh, yeah, this is a great invention. You can expedite the lagering of the beer. It'll make it age faster through this chemical addition. And it doesn't affect the taste. It did not affect the taste. Some kind of compound. I think it was like in a powder form, and they would add it, and it would make it age faster. And then they start adding more of it and make it age even faster. Adding more of it, make it age even faster. So then by 1976, in 1976, Schlitz was the second best-selling beer in America. Number one was Budweiser. Number two was Schlitz. True story. 1976, 46 years ago. But then people started calling, you know, they have these numbers you can call. Why does my Schlitz beer have this slime in it, like a film? The company was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And so they dumped 500,000 barrels of Schlitz down the drain in Tampa, Florida, because it was, the owner said, get rid of it. We got to stop this. And then the word got out. So it was in the newspaper. Schlitz dumps 500,000 barrels of tainted beer down the drain. Well, that killed them. Because then people were like, I'm not drinking tainted beer. So they just start firing everybody. And they hired this retired Anheuser-Busch brewmaster named Frank Seligman. And they said, can you correct this insanity? And he's like, yeah. He's like, but you got to give me total control. I have to have total control of the brewery. They said, you got it. So he went in there kicking butt. You know, he was just like axing people left and right. He's like, we're making real beer again. You know, funny money's over. Silly Billies and funny bunnies got to go. And so they made the new Schlitz beer, which was kind of like the old Schlitz beer without this chemical additive. But it was too late because people just started abandoning it. And they kept doing television ads, and they're going to sponsor Fleetwood Mac. And oh, no, it was Schlitz Light that sponsored Fleetwood Mac in 1982 Mirage Tour. Schlitz beer sponsored the Who tour. Rock Across America. But it didn't matter because 1976 they were number 2, but in 1977 they were number 3, and then It kept dropping. It was still big. I mean, 1982 it was still big. You're not going to sponsor the Who's World Tour if you're small. But the man that owned the company had cancer. He had leukemia and he died. It was a terrible story. He died of leukemia in 1981, and the family was like, "We don't want to run this. It's dying anyway." They didn't know what to do. And then they had the union. You know, these unions, they're so intelligent. The union says, if we don't get this raise during this recession, remember the 1982 recession, we going on strike. And Schlitz told the union, they said, let me tell you something. Let's look at it like this. Let's look at it this way. If you go on strike, this company is gone. And there will be no jobs. So you better enjoy the strike because it's going to last forever. And they said, you're bluffing. They said, okay, well, go ahead and see what you want to do and see if we're bluffing. So then here comes Stroh's, Little Stroh's. They were like the 6th largest company. They bought Schlitz. They had to borrow all this money. And I mean a lot of money, like one of the biggest corporate buyouts in history. They bought out Schlitz. So then the Schlitz family said, bye, bye. And then Stroh said, hey, these people don't want to buy the beer. What's wrong with Schlitz? And that Schlitz was like, you didn't see it was declining for like 6 straight years? And then you know what happened? One after the other, slowly, from 1982 to 1999, one more Schlitz brewery closed. And then here comes Pabst in 1999, said, oh, Stroh's, look at y'all losing money left and right. Y'all can't even pay the note. You bought Schlitz and you can't even pay the note. Ain't that a shame? Guess what we'll do? Stroh say what? We'll buy you out. And they bought him out. And they shut down every brewery. Pabst bought out Stroh's and shut down every brewery like overnight. And nobody had a job. Okay, so and Miller said, Miller was going to buy the whole thing. If you want to know the truth, Miller was going to buy the whole thing. But the United States government said, no, that'll make a monopoly. So it's antitrust laws. So Miller said, oh, well, we can't buy it. So what they did was Pabst bought the company, but then Miller agreed to brew all the beer for him. And then they had this big lawsuit about 3 years ago because Pabst said that Miller was cheating them. Miller said, we're not cheating you. We're going to brew our beer first. Okay, it's like Miller High Life comes first. And if we have extra capacity, then Pabst comes second and Schlitz comes third or whatever. They said, yeah, but we can't get our product on the market. And then Miller was saying, is that our problem? So then they settled out of court, but they don't kind of like deal with each other anymore. That's why Pabst is going all to City Brewing for their contract brewing. They're transitioning to City Brewing. All right, so I was able to tell them apart. Now, which one tastes better, actually? Well, Schlitz is dynamite. But the Michelob is smoother. It's a smoother, more exceptional flavor. You say, but is it $4 more per 6-pack better, or $3.50 more per 12-pack better? No, I would not pay the extra $3.50 per 12-pack just because of that. But they're both winners, so either way you go, you're getting the best of the best. Budweiser cannot beat these two beers. Sorry, Budweiser. Miller High Life, negative. Coors Banquet, negative. Coors Extra Gold. It's no longer produced, so forget it. Miller Genuine Draft. Now, Miller Genuine Draft battled. That was no joke because I could not tell Miller Genuine Draft from Schlitz. Okay. All right. That was a tie, and I got it wrong, and I'll admit it. Miller Genuine Draft was nothing to play with. Miller Genuine Draft is nothing to play with. So, but Pabst cannot beat these two. Old Milwaukee cannot beat these two. Busch, yeah, sure, yeah, right. Busch don't even come close. Rolling Rock, give me a break, and etc. You know, no. Now let's look at the comments, then we out of here because I want to go listen to the radio show, which is I'm missing. Jay, do you think James Carville is an evil snake man, says Richard Ramirez? I don't know. Go take $1 and drag it through a parking trailer park. I wouldn't spend my money on that, says Gabe. King of the Dot, I saw James Carville twice with Mary Matlin, the liberal Republican lady. Do you think they changed the Schlitz recipe in recent years? Says Urjo. Well, in 2007 they did. Hi, Ronald Ski, says Beerhound. Hello, Beerhound. Bill. Carville spell check won't let me say his name. Yeah, it's probably a conspiracy. Okay, says Gary. Ronald, silly question of the day. Why does the cheapest tap beer taste so much better than the expensive canned beer, says Claude Diamond. Oh, like when I went to Denver, Colorado in 1999 and I drank Pabst on draft and it destroyed all the other beers and cans because it's draft, it's not pasteurized. They were selling imperial pints, like 20 ounce glasses, these huge glasses of Pabst on draft at this bum bar, like a hobo bar, really, right around the corner from the beautiful Denver, Colorado Greyhound station for $1. So I said, oh, the bus doesn't arrive for an hour. So give me a Pabst. They filled it up, this huge thing. Naturally, I drank it. Then I said, give me another one. So they filled up huge glasses. So it cost me $2 plus the tip, which wasn't much at the bum bar. But it was awesome. I mean, it was so much better than regular. And if you go regular beer, and if you go to Carrollton Station in New Orleans, Carrollton Station, right off of Carrollton Avenue, it used to be the streetcar station, and you drank Pabst on draft there. Yeah, you're not going to get 20 ounce glasses for $1, but you still get a good deal. And oh yeah, it's killer. I've been enjoying the Kessler series. Sad to see it go, says Beerhounds. Yeah, I got well, one more, right? Kessler versus Seagram 7 Crown. Sorry, Kessler, you're going to get killed. Seagram 7 Crown does not lose in American blended whiskey. Seagram 7 Crown cannot lose to any American blended whiskey. Sorry, cannot happen. It will not happen. I haven't seen Schlitz since back when I was a child in the 1990s, says Kevin. I'm in the West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia area. Oh, yeah. By, you're talking about close to Harper's Ferry. They must have had horrible marketing. They had pretty bad marketing. Joe Biden Stentor said, great find, sir. I haven't seen Michelob for many years. I didn't think they still made it. Do you know when they changed the bottles? Yes. They changed the bottles like around 2005, something like that. Beerhound, Claude Diamond, because you probably don't check the dates on the beer you buy. Uh-oh. Drama time. King of the Dots, Carl. Okay, Ron for president. I would like to be the president of the United States. I don't have the political base and the money. I would do a good job, I'm pretty sure. I It was a cover up with Schlitz. They dumped the beer because an employee. Okay. Cargill is a character from Citizen Kane. A fact. I have never had Schlitz, says Beer Hounds. Beer reviews. Oh, you're missing out. That's why you come here for the history lesson, says Blue. Smiling face. Richard Ramirez. Stroh's was my uncle's favorite. I like Stroh's. Joseph Cotton was Jedediah in Citizen Kane, identical to Cargill. Miss Terry, what brand of running shoes do you wear? Walmart brand. Okay. I wear great value running shoes. They're wonderful. Geary, go for the Gusto. Schlitz, the choice is obvious. Well, in this case, Michelob wins, but it doesn't really win when you consider the price, you know? Larry Bell sold bells after saying for years he never would. Turns out none of his children had any interest whatsoever in running the brewery. Right. So Larry Bell had no choice because what is he going to do? Run the brewery till he was 100? Hello, Ron, says Maxwell. Hello, Maxwell in the Russian Federation. Cotton Eye Joe, can't go wrong with hams, Ron. You're right, but we can't get it really. Who needs teeth to run a brewery, Mr. Dentcher? Oh, okay. I think hams would put up a good fight. It would do okay, but it wouldn't win. Both are great beers, says Jonathan Walker. Hey, Jonathan, why did Grady Hall... what? All right. He couldn't. Okay, all right. To hit the... oh, wait, well, now it's getting a little goofy now. Cassidy's Hobo Bar under the overpass on Interstate 95. Yes, near Harper's Ferry. Great map knowledge. Impressive. Yes, I have basically a map of the United States in my mind. You can get Schlitz around the Baltimore area, says Jonathan Walker. That's good to know. Beer Hound. Sleeper beer for me last year was Hams beer. I like Hams. I like it. If I could get it easily, I would buy it and do a taste challenge. I cannot get it easily. Why are... all right. Well, anyway, y'all want to see another one more Michelob beer? I'll show it to you. You can't get this really. They only sell 30 packs of hams here now. Yeah, it's kind of like that here. All right. Oh, here it is. Michelob Golden Draft. I bought this in Minnesota. And I have cans too. Michelob Golden Draft. It's a draft Michelob, but it is an adjunct, but it is never pasteurized. Very interesting product. When I went to Minneapolis, every bar and everybody was drinking Goldie Light, Golden Draft Light, the white label, Goldie Light. They were all saying, "You want a Goldie Light?" I said, "No." So the Goldie Light was like super popular, but the blue label, the regular, was not. You know, it had too much flavor. Okay, all right. Enough of this. Cheers all, Ron's beer reviews and tools up there in New England. Cheers all. This is a good matchup in Bruce. Thank you, Ron. It was, and it was a great challenge. Hams made a golden draft as well, right? Yes, I have cans over there. Hams Golden Draft. It was originally called Hams Genuine Draft, but Miller told them, I don't think so. I think MGD can give Schlitz a good run. It did. That was the one I got wrong. Remember, that was the one I got wrong. Wow, Ron has the official. Yes. Hard to find hams around here. Every once in a while, I'll see it, says Michael. Yeah, after the buyout, it was like, oh, thank you. All right, well, thanks, everybody. Y'all take care now. And, well, that's it for Schlitz. I think I've done enough taste challenges with them, but we can do other ones. So no big deal. All right, thanks, everybody. Y'all take care now.